performance crossover for people who love driving. That is what Jaguar is calling this, which is the new F-Pace. Crossover, SUV, 4x4, call it what you will. It is Jaguar's answer to the Porsche Macan, Audi Q5, BMW X3, pushing up towards the next class above. I mean, it's a 35 to sort of 50 grand car. There's a launch edition at 65 grand, so it's a pretty serious premium piece of kit. And for that, what do you get? Well, like all Jaguars, you get an aluminium intensive body. About 80% of the F-Pace is aluminium. It shares an awful lot with the XE and the XF. Some slightly weird things about it. It's got some magnesium underneath. The tailgate is plastic, which helps lower the centre of gravity, but then the boot floor is steel, which means that the weight distribution is brought back towards 50-50 from being nose heavy. So they thought quite a lot about how they want the dynamics to be. Inside, it's pretty nice actually. It's a large car, 4.7 metres long, so it's big in the class, so the boot is really quite big. Plenty of room in the back seats. Here in the front, the driving position is fine actually. Driving position is fine. Material quality is pretty good. Stuff up the top is nice. There's some soft leather, that sort of thing. There's a little bit of plasticky just down by the doors, but don't forget it's a Q5, not Q7 sort of rival, so I think that's okay. What's it like? Well, as you would expect a premium car to be, noise level's very low actually, and it rides pretty well, this car. But don't forget what they've said. It is a performance car, blah, 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 for those who love driving. So what we need to find is some corners. I mean, Jaguars are developed mostly in the UK. They're signed off in Wales. They tend to do that dynamic thing quite well. Fortunately, we are in a country called Montenegro, and there is a road which has 25 hairpins back to back. They're all numbered, although they seem to start on 9. But they are all there at some point. So let's go and see if they're serious, if they're right, if this is one of the cars that you would love to drive if you love driving. So what we've got in the way of mechanical spec? Well, this car is the range-topping 3-litre petrol. There's a 3-litre diesel, you can get 2-litre diesels, you can get a 2-litre diesel with rear-wheel drive. This one's all-wheel drive. It's got 380 metric horsepower, 375 hour brake, and it drives through an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And although it's all-wheel drive, that system, it can only ever divert as much as 50% to the front. So it's not one of these front-biased 4-wheel drive systems like you might get from some cars from Germany. Does that make it more incisive? Well, it kind of does actually. It does feel quite keen to drive. It doesn't feel led by its front end by any means, despite the fact it's got one of the heavier engines under its nose. Gearbox is good. This 8-speed ZF transmission is always good. It doesn't matter what you put it in. It just shifts very cleanly, very smoothly. Makes a nice enough noise, I think, this car. It's not as raucous as it could be. There'll be an SVR later, one assumes. But it is not as if this car hangs around. I mean, it's from 0 to 60, the claim is 5.1 seconds, and it's electronically limited to 155. I don't think it'll occur to me that I would want to go much faster than that in a near 2-ton off-roader, but we'll see when the SVR comes out. Range Rover Sport SVR is quite good fun, let's face it. Meantime, what is this like? Well, chassis control, body control is good actually. Control of body movements is good, and I haven't even got the adaptive dampers turned up to their racier setting yet, which I will do as soon as I find a straight piece of road, which on a road with 25 hairpins is not going to be very easy. Right, here we go. No doubt, pop that across into dynamic. You get some companies where clearly somebody involved has said, right, you've got your normal comfort dampers, and then when you push the button to put them in sport, I want it really sporty, really racy. And that basically means they're completely unusable on the road. But thankfully, Jaguar doesn't do that whole mass distinction thing. Even though the dampers are in their firmer of 2 modes, it's still very far from too firm. Just has that nice Jaguar flow and feel to it. It's not as bombastic, it's not as hardcore, it's not as urgent as a Porsche Macan Turbo. Whether you prefer that or not is slightly a matter of personal taste and where you're going to end up driving it and how you're going to end up driving it, to be fair. It's got a nice flow to it, a nice ease to it, which makes it actually as a car to just relax into and drive a lot. Makes it really nice actually. And if that is the kind of feel that Jaguar was going for, I'd say they've pretty much nailed it. And in fairness, not before time, everybody has got one of these SUVs because they sell by the bucket load. Right, there is the 25th of 25 hairpins. The view here is amazing. It is off the scale beautiful, this place. It is unbelievable.